Everybody, welcome to the Sci-Fi Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and I'm joined today by my sisters, Sabrina Wood,
whoop, whoop.
Yvette Blackman-Tom,
hello,
and Fran T.
What's happening?
What's happening, Fran? As always, what's happening is that we got a fantastic show. We're really, really, really excited. Okay, so Fran is super geeking out right now. If y'all
Fran
can
is
see,
not gonna make it through the show.
I don't think Fran is gonna have a heart attack because we have a brother here on the show with us. He's our first official movie star. Movie star. And we are so excited that he is joining us. He's an Emmy award-winning actor, and you guys might know him just from this little role on the Orville, or you might have seen him recently. Well, heard his voice in the most recent Planet of the Apes movie, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We are talking to none other than Peter Macon. What's up, brother? Welcome to
Not the hey. I love it.
Yeah, yo, this has been a minute. How long did we plan this ago? Like, when was that?
It's like 2 years ago. Yeah. It was a year ago? A year ago?
Maybe
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, yeah.
2 years ago.
Was that in Philly, Baltimore?
No, it was in Baltimore. It was shore leave.
Shore leave. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But the actors' strike came on. So it was only a year ago. It was a year ago.
Yeah. It feels like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I have no sense of time anymore.
Yep.
Y'all, the story goes like this. Yvette and I were sauntering down the hallway at shore leave. Saunter.
You were sauntering.
Yeah, we were sauntering. That's right. We walk past, there's a table. There's a brother over there, this fine brother with this beautiful bald head. Yvette and I saunter, bloop, bloop, double take. Who's that? We go over the table. It's Peter Macon. And it was like friendship at first sight.
Yeah, it
was. Well, I didn't know y'all was out there like that. You know what I mean? I didn't, I thought, I just didn't know. So that was cool. I mean, it was good. It was great to learn about you guys. And just, just put me on game. So I was really excited that, I wish I would have known y'all in high school. Because I was so lonely in high school.
Lonely, right?
I was so lonely. I was so lonely.
Lonely little blerds.
Oh, my God. It's all up in science club and math club.
Oh, my.
Yeah, that guy.
All up in science club.
Just alone. Oh, man.
We would have made the dopest posse.
Right?
For real.
Right?
Yeah, we
could have been up in there with you.
Right?
Because y'all
AV squad.
Right? Right?
Civil Air Patrol.
Oh, God.
Okay.
I know, right? Like, okay, you just lost us on the civil.
All the geek stuff covered.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Give me the frog. I'll dissect it.
No,
didn't want to that. I'm like, give me the frog. I'll dissect.
Just that one. That's it. I can't.
Just that one.
No, yeah, no. I did it once. I was good. I was like,
I'm a vegetarian. I can't do this.
And then we found out, like, it ran deeper because we found out that you, me, and Yvette have this love of house music.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Peter was like sending us all this house music. And I was like, Tamia, here's some more house music for Peter. And we're like, oh my God, I didn't even know half of that stuff.
Okay, let's be real. She sent it once.
Just once?
Just
once. I could send some more.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
I thought I sent more than once. Sorry.
Yeah, you got that, didn't you?
I really did.
I mean, that's the music that I grew up on in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like, and then my friend who's a producer now in Chicago, he has a studio. But his dad, first of all, I don't know what his dad was doing because in the hood he had a Lincoln Continental. He had a white Lincoln Continental. Okay. I'm not casting no aspersions. I'm just saying. But he was an honest dude. I know he made an honest living because his wife did not play. So I know that
there you go.
Business going on. So they worked hard, but they had the first dual cassette recorder, like stereo, right?
Yeah, that's big.
So when like WVON and WGCI, they used to do like live mixes with like Farley Jackmaster Funk and like all these DJs, and they do live mixes. And so what we would do is we would go over to my man's house, much probably to the chagrin of his parents, because I think down the road, I think we pretty much messed up their system. But like 5 of us, waiting in line, waiting our turn with our cassettes, and we would play. We put one cassette in the deck, and then we have another cassette in the other deck, and then as the mix is playing, we would hit pause, record, like pause, record, rewind, rewind, pause, record, pause, record. So we make our own mixes of the mix, and then we do that every day after school, So, and I think I was like 9. 9 or 10, like, or I think I was in elementary school, so I was young. Wow. So, but yeah, like that. So that I just grew up on that, and then when
you definitely messed up the system.
Oh yeah, we got kicked out. We were banned. We got banned from the house.
9-year-olds mixing the mixes on it.
Man, 5 of us, like every day, like before the parents came home from school, and then they probably want to go and put in like Luther Vandross on. And it was like, so that lasted, probably like a cool month, and then that was done. But yeah, the mixes that they used to play on the radio. But then, so the house music, and so then, but what really peeled my wig was I was up in Southern Oregon at the Shakespeare Festival, doing a show with this group called Universes, and we're doing this play called Party People about the Black Panther Party and the Young Lords, and there was this
in Oregon.
Yeah, well, the Oregon Shakespeare Festival is the oldest Shakespeare festival in the Western Hemisphere. It's been there since 1939, and so they do a lot of Shakespeare. They also do a fair bit of August Wilson every once in a while, but they'll do like a lot of new plays.
Okay.
So and there was a sound designer there who was from Johannesburg. And I was like, this was like we were rehearsing for like a month and a half. And we just we're sitting down having a drink, talking, and I was just talking, and then and house music came up, and he's like, house music, and he's like, I was like, yeah, house music. What you know about house music? And he's like, bruh, you don't understand. And he turned me on to a world that I did not even know existed. So what, like house music in South Africa, in Josie, in even like Zanzibar. Just all over the southern region, like Kenya,
Zimbabwe,
it's like it's full on. And I had no idea, and I had been to lived in West Africa and was studied West African classical music, djembe and stuff like that, and just really into music, but I didn't know. And so since then, and this was like 2012. Wow! I sat down, and I have been listening to pretty much, nothing but, of course I listen to a lot of jazz, I listen to a lot of, all of the, but pretty much I've been living in South African deep house and what they call like slow jam, 45 BPM, sorts of mid-tempo stuff. Because South Africa's South Africans like it slaps, like it's like they like it a little slower, a little easier. Like
you got to send us some of that.
Oh, man, my phone is like just full of just, so I make mixes on top of mixes on top of mixes. Like, so anyway, dang, that Atlanta Fest, I'm so bummed that I missed that. Last year, right? That when it was like a house fest, like that was here, in the park in
Atlanta.
Yeah, and you were emailing me about it, and like there was like Anyway, but yeah.
Yvette was like, did I?
I probably did. I probably did. Yeah. I probably did.
It was like last June, and I was not here, so I couldn't go.
I think I emailed you a few things, but I think some of them you already knew about. Maybe that was one I can't remember.
Yeah, well, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I mean, I'm talking out of the side of my neck. I'm pretty much a hermit. I don't go nowhere.
That's why we love music, because we want to stay in the house and listen to music. Read a book and listen to music. That's it. That's good times right there.
I want to take you back to something you just said there. You talked about doing the Shakespeare Festival, and I read in your bio that you had actually done Othello, and I said I would pay any kind of money, to see you in.
Oh man, that play. I've done that play 4 times.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, and the last production I did was at the National Theatre of Ireland in Dublin, which was pretty amazing because it just had a relevancy that it just resonated differently. You know what I mean? Because it was I was like American in Ireland, and the play is just, I have a love-hate relationship with that play. And I mean, I'm actually, funny enough, I'm actually gonna go next month to start shooting my a series. Well, I'm working on a series that's based off of Othello, but I'm turning it inside out. So it's gonna, so I don't know if you're familiar with, like, there was a black tank battalion in World War II called the Black Panthers.
Oh yeah. Oh please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so what my writing partner and I are doing is we are taking Othello, and we are setting it in 1946.
My heart is beating.
Like London, and probably France, but everybody's black. So Othello's black, Desdemona's black, Iago's black. And it's gonna be.
I just died. Right?
Yo.
I died.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
So and that's what I was like doing research when you called, and because I was just deep into research about the Black Panthers, like the tank battalions, and then just completely lost track of time. But yeah, like that play. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I feel like in literature, because Shakespeare has been weaponized, right? Like it has been, it's elitist. I mean, my first, the first Shakespeare I did was I auditioned for this production of Macbeth, and I didn't know nothing about Shakespeare, so I was like, I gotta, I've been working for about 6 years, 7 years professionally, and I'd never done any Shakespeare, and I'm like, well, you can't really call yourself an actor if you don't do any Shakespeare, you don't do any August Wilson, you don't do any Susan Lloyd Parks, you don't do any, you know what I mean? So I was just like, well, let me just try to get down with this because I don't know it. And at the time, and even still now, people were like, oh, there was a sentiment that like Black people can't do Shakespeare, and this is before, like, I feel like all the Brits were coming over to the States, you know what I mean? Because their training programs.
You got my next question. Keep going.
Their training programs are pretty rigorous in terms of dialect work and stuff like that. Like, because in order to work in the film industry, you have to be flexible, and so like they emphasize a lot. Like the British training programs emphasize a lot with dialect work and a lot of shape shifting. And so a lot of Brits, like Dameson, my man who did Snowfall, who was amazing. Anyway, my point is, not Idris Elba, but
Idris.
Anyway,
I can't remember his name.
I feel horrible, but my bandwidth is full.
Damson Idris.
Damson Idris, yeah, like that's what. So. What the hell was I talking about?
Shakespeare weaponized.
Shakespeare weaponized.
So black people. So yeah, this is before, like sort of the British invasion of
right.
Because it was sort of like Idris Elba, Eamon Walker. And Eamon Walker is a British actor who's like on Chicago Fire right now, but he was also like a big stage actor. And I saw his production of Othello at the RSC, and they looked tired. It was just like they're probably doing like 13 shows a week or something like that.
Oh my God!
So but at the time, it was a sentiment that was sort of it was prevalent in the American, the regional theater. The black people couldn't do Shakespeare. So anyway, I auditioned for Macbeth, and thinking that I was going to get like Ross or Lennox or some supporting role. And they cast me as Macbeth. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Of course they did.
I was like, no, but I was 3 weeks. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to memorize poetry. How do you memorize?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I'm like, and then I went outside on a break, and I was like, I'm going to get fired. And I was stressed out. And then I took out my sword and I started hacking up this poor tree and trying to say my lines. And I was like, oh, you got to breathe. You got to breathe. That's all you got to do is breathe. It's written in there for you. You breathe. You say your lines, you breathe. And then it just clicked. And so then I was hooked. And so, but there's this notion. So Othello, right? So Othello is a fictitious play. It's full of holes. And it's written by an Elizabethan, for Elizabethans who knew very little to nothing about quote unquote Moors. And so like the whole idea of like the introduction of the exotic other, let alone all the racism that's in the play. But what I think it's done is I think it's tainted, or it's put this toxicity into the zeitgeist of, it's not too far removed, in my opinion, from Birth of a Nation in terms of like the scary big black man and so, and they're like Sidney Poitier, my man Harry Lennox, who's a friend of mine. Like that's like, I won't do that play, like that. I'm not doing that play, and I totally understand why, because it is, it's really hard to get right. And I think one of the reasons why the production I did in Ireland was worked, I think, was because Ireland didn't really participate in the transatlantic slave trade in the same way that England did. In fact, England had its foot up Ireland's ass most of the time.
That's right. That's right.
And the audiences, like there's racism in Ireland. Don't get it twisted, but it's a different kind of. Like it's just not off rip. Like it's just. In fact, it was the guy who played Iago was from, I think it was from Belfast. He was from Northern Ireland, and so the whole rift between Northern Irish and the whole rest of the country,
the whole rest of the world.
Right.
The UK.
So what he would do is he would slip back and forth between like a Belfast dialect and like a Dublin dialect, and it would just make people super uncomfortable.
Wow.
Like my black ass. So like it worked really well that way because it was specific, but I was still like this generic sort of sub-Saharan, but so then I started doing my research. Well, I've been doing my research a lot about like who would Othello have been. So in the play, he's like, he's a general in the Venetian army. The Venetian city-state is at odds with the Turks, the Ottoman Empire, like Constantinople, essentially, like modern-day Turkey. And, what is now modern-day Turkey. And so, like, which is, Muslim predominantly and Christian and Jewish. But, like, so, and then so he flip-flops between... he has for Christian shame he makes these references, so we don't know if he's Christian or if he's a convert recently. There's a lot of unanswered questions, which makes me further know, as Steve Harvey would say, that Shakespeare did not know who he was. And so then there's like all this contradiction about the handkerchief, like that handkerchief that an Egyptian my mother give, and then he says then it came from a witch. But it's just full of holes, and then you only need watch Laurence Olivier's performance of Othello, which is insulting. And I would punch him in the throat if I could, if I could for that performance. But he gets lauded as the most prominent,
the pillar, the one,
and that was just offensive. So what I'm doing with this, because it started off as a short film, right? And I got this image of Othello in a barber chair. So I was kind of setting in like the 30s and sort of like, sort of the gangster, Al Capone kind of Chicago-y kind of world. And he's in a barber chair, and Iago is shaving him with a straight razor.
Oh my gosh.
And it's this scene where he's like, look to your wife, like, and I'm like this, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to do I'm not interested in, this topical like black white racism. What I'm interested in, because I'm like, wow, what if Iago if they're both Black American, because ultimately what I'm trying to really, really dig into is the PTSD of
war,
of slavery,
okay.
of hundreds of years of there's a lot. So like Reconstruction, right? So like you look at, and so like the parallelisms between Reconstruction and post World War II, like the Reconstruction and the alliances of the UN, and now what is like of Israel and of the CIA, and like all of these things forming in like 1949, but like, so that's sort of a neo Reconstruction. But I'm looking at like these soldiers, like the Red Tails and the Black Panthers.
Black Panthers.
These soldiers, and they had a 50% mortality rate, by the way, because their slogan was "Go in fighting." They were, and just like the Moors, they were like ferocious. And when I say Moors, I'll get back to that in a minute. But like they first though they weren't allowed to fight forever, and so they would just train for 2 years. And then they finally, when they went over to on Normandy, and they stormed, like when they beat like that tank battalion, is what basically won the day. And so then they come back to America, or the war's over, and they're like second-class citizens all over.
Right.
And so I look at Othello, and Othello. So when the Bahamas was sort of forming, and it was British, like the Brits were fighting Spain over the territory. Well, the pirates were also like instrumental in that it was almost like a democracy in and of itself. And oftentimes pirates would encounter slave ships, and they would give the enslaved men and women on the ship a choice because they're like, well, we're going to take the ship, and we're going to kill them, and we're going to take everything that's on the ship. So you have a choice. You can go with us, or you can go with them. And so a lot of these pirates were like Africans who were sort of merchant marines. They were like they were sailors already. Like there were people who were out, but a lot of them weren't, you know what I mean? And a lot of them like wanted to go back, and a lot of them wanted to form a new life. And so a lot of them became seafarers. And so I'm like, okay, so again, like back to a fictitious ass Othello, he's like, that since these arms of mine had 7 years pith, they I'm paraphrasing, they've spent their, basically since he was 7 years old, he's been embroiled in battle. So what that meant was, so if you're 7 years old, what use are you on a ship? Well, they had what they called deck boys. And what deck boys would be responsible for was pouring sand on the deck of the ship. So when the ships boarded, like the sand would absorb all the blood.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I would imagine him going back, and then he would just hide, or just seeing war for his whole life. And what I love about this play is that what it does is it's a tragedy, and what it does is the tragedy is that there is no room for love and war to exist in the same, in my opinion, in the same sphere. And so the problem, or the hook of the play is that here's a man who's probably been in a lot of brothels and done God knows what, and been sailing around the world, but he's never been in love. And he so in our story, there were like these nurses that came over in World War II that were and the black nurses would have to take care of German POWs, and America's this place. The more I dig into this country, I'm just like,
it's unbelievable.
It's
unbelievable.
Right.
It's just like, what the fuck? So Desdemona in our story is a nurse, and she's one of the nurses that have come over to London to care for German POWs, and Othello in our story is wounded and is in a coma because he's one of the Black Panthers, and he's a tank. He's like a commander, he's like Brad Pitt in that movie Fury. I don't know if you ever saw that movie. She nurses him back to. I was just watching it again today, but she nurses him back to health, and they meet and they kind of fall in love, and so that's where we're at. But then it's a huge chunk because we know the play, and just to be completely honest, I watched my father abuse and beat my mother and point a gun to her head and all kinds of crazy, and I'm not the only person. I grew up around that, and
right.
So I'm interested in, because I'm like, well, why would a black man do this to another black man? Why would this black man kill his wife? And why did so I'm just it's a tragedy. But I want to go down this road, and it's very, very dark, but I feel like I'm hoping that it's cathartic enough that what it will do is that it will de-weaponize this play and recanonize it in terms of it will make an offering. And maybe it won't be the play. I don't know, but that's. That's.
I like where you're going with it. That's for sure.
I do too.
Yeah.
I can see this whole thing.
Yeah.
Going back to another thing you said, I want to recommend a movie to you to see. I don't know if you've seen this. It's called Voodoo Macbeth.
Oh,
yes. You ever heard of it?
I have. Now.
And it's about.
I know. I've seen it, and I've seen it by 20 years ago. I've seen this movie.
No, you could not have. It's a 2021.
Really?
Really? Peter, listen.
Are you thinking about the old one? Wasn't there an older one though?
I
don't know.
Now Screaming Jay Hawkins.
No, here's where we go.
Okay.
Voodoo Macbeth is about the staging of Macbeth by a black theater company in 1939.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
So
yes.
It happened in 19. Right.
Yeah.
And the director was Orson Welles.
Yes.
This is true. They made a movie out of it, Peter.
Yeah.
So take a look at it, because it is the same thing you were talking about. Everybody saying that Black people couldn't do Macbeth. They couldn't do Shakespeare, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They didn't believe themselves, and it's the mounting of this play.
Yes.
And then it became a huge success, and of course became such a success to people that were financing it, which was like the government, during the war, the government, whatever that program was, they were going around funding all the different plays. One of the old white men decided that, we're not going to have no more of this because it was so successful. They pulled the financing. But the movie is phenomenal. It didn't get a lot of buzz, but I loved it, and it was something I never heard of before, so I think you would enjoy it.
Well, I haven't seen that, but I did see a documentary, or I feel like I've seen something about that production that Orson Welles.
That production.
It all kinds of things were going wrong with that production. I'm a fan of Orson Welles, and he takes a lot of liberties and rearranges scenes and does all kinds of stuff. But I will definitely check that out.
Voodoo Macbeth.
God, I've been in that place 7 times.
When she said it, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's on my list. But like it's taking a back seat. But that's my favorite Shakespeare play. And I had like this concept of like a post-apocalyptic, sort of shogunny,
Wait,
what? like Afro,
I'm like
Afro-futuristic.
With the words.
I know, because
wow.
I'm a painter, and like that's where my work kind of lives, is like Afrofuturism, and before, and I love that the Afro punk movement is up and
right.
But like I feel like that this is another way I alienated myself in high school, like making this crazy like futuristic Maasai, like
right.
What is wrong with this fool? Man,
living your best life, man.
Right, all alone. You know what I mean?
That's how I was like. I always, when we first formed, when the Sci-Fi Sistas first formed, we talked about like, Afrofuturism, as our big guiding word, and I was like really resistant to it at first, because I was like, I existed before this term ever came around. Yes. Like I didn't need a term to define me. Like it's just me. Like this is how I see the world. Like the rest of, but I get it. Like and it's useful, and it's and I don't resent it anymore. Just to be clear.
I know. I was a little stank about it myself.
But I mean, I was like,
now y'all cool.
I was like, like all these people like, oh, you're Afrofuturist, and I'm like, no, I'm a black nerd.
Yeah, no, I'm Blerd.
I was this way when you guys were teasing me and calling me names and didn't want to let me sit with you at lunch.
Now you gave me a 10-letter word,
right? And now I'm supposed to be something like and now me. And I have a thing about 10-letter words, like sometimes because academia, like it could takes things away from people in a way. It does. I mean, at the same time you're doing work, at the same time you're trying to talk about work, trying to dig into it. It also puts a distance between people unless people are talking about it in a way that's actually communicating to people without having to use $10 words all the time to describe what they're talking about.
Yeah, and it's them, and it's from experience, and it's not like something like that they've. It's almost like it's not a hat that, and I'm glad that it's acceptable now. I mean, because I started growing dreadlocks in 1986, and at the time,
nobody liked you then.
And like I remember being on the train platform with my grandma in Chicago, and this dude wanted to fight me. He was like, "Why don't you comb your hair? Why don't you comb your hair?" You know, because there was crazy, sprouty kind of busty, and then like De La Soul, thank goodness, finally came, and I was just like, great, the pressure's off. Like, now, like, leave me alone. And I would go into auditions, and I was like, that was really great, Peter. Like, and it's great. How do you feel about cutting your hair?
Right.
Before you even offered me a job, you asked me to come. I was like, okay, I'm out. But I'm glad that like they've caught up. I'm glad that the world, like, like that there's this plurality that because I was like, I wished that, that I had that peer group around at the time, but I don't know that I could be who I am.
You did.
If I did, but then again, who knows? But it doesn't matter.
You don't know?
It does, I'm going to keep it positive and just be great. I'm glad that, and plus there's like the whole crossover between, like the queer community and just like this is just like, it's just, I just love it. It's just like, there's no bounds. And I really, I think, and it's given a lot of people a lot of breathing room. Which, thank goodness, like we need that, especially like, cause we'll see. I don't know. I could go a whole nother route, and because I'm just deeply disturbed and disgusted about a lot of things.
I would be listening.
I don't know.
But let's get to what Fran wants to talk about.
What you want to talk about, Fran?
Okay. I know you can't give specifics, or anything like that. I'm a huge huge Orville fan.
I can get specifics.
Right, it's over.
Okay.
I ain't got no comment. I can say what I want.
You heard anything about, when season 4? Are you gonna?
Man, look. Look, your guesses. It's all. I know that Seth really enjoyed doing that show for a few different reasons. Like, one, I know that he enjoyed it because it allowed him to get out of the Family Guy, American Dad box, and even and I think that what is it, A Million Ways to Die in the West, that really wonderful Western movie that he did, so just his brand of like just sort of growing his brand of humor out of the high school locker room kind of, you know what I mean? Like growing the humor, like making the humor a little bit more sophisticated, and then walking the line also with drama. And I know that he wants to, or at least I feel like there's a part of him that wants to be wants to, if he wants to, when he wants to, be considered to be able to do straight drama, right?
He wants to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and so that Showtime thing that he did about the Fox network, I forget what it was, but he did that like after the first season. And so like I'm saying that to say that he's an artist, and every artist wants to grow. And so I know that, and he's also a huge Star Trek fan, right? Soon that he built like a scale model. I think it was probably maybe 2 or 3 feet long of the Enterprise out of cardboard and Christmas lights.
Wow.
He was like 14. You know what I mean? So I just know that he loves, so the Orville is a love letter essentially to Star Trek, which is why I feel like a lot of Star Trek fans really accept. Like I was just at this convention in Germany last month, Federation FedCon, and they were like, and that was the first time they had another show besides that wasn't a Star Trek show invited to him. So they've really accepted the Orville because as like like
a cousin of the body of the body
and homage.
It's got Star Trek DNA in it,
It does. I think it's an homage. I think
it definitely is, and the simplicity and the sort of like it's not dystopian. Do you know what I mean? It's
right.
And it's also unique because it has humor. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what sets it apart. Now I say all that, and he loved it, and he's made Fox Network billions of dollars. So there was one of our sets, like the bridge, which is like this huge it's 2 stories, but like there's a whole nother sub story that goes down a floor to support it. That thing was sitting unused on one of the stages on the Fox lot for like a year.
Wow.
And that's unheard of. Like and so they finally tore it down, and they tore off. But he's like, and then they destroyed all of the molds for Bortus and for all the other, because he's like, I don't want it to, and I don't want anybody else to have it. Things tend to disappear.
Yes.
But that, he's like, but we'll just make it again, and that's okay. Because that's the way he thinks. And I know that like he had a really good time doing it, and I know that he wants to do more. We talked about a movie. We talked about like, and before the strike, there was a tentative deal on the table with Disney for. I think there was a discrepancy over the number of episodes. Like I think he wanted to do more, they wanted to do less. But it's also a very expensive show to produce.
Well, you can tell by looking at it. It's it's not a throwaway. graphics, everything is fine. It's great.
And like the last we talked, he's like, I'm interested in doing more of like chamber episodes, like so more character development and less space battles, but more about like, you know, smaller, like, you know, more. So, and then, you know, and now season 2 of Ted just got greenlit. So like, you know, so
gotta do what you're good at.
You know, but I think it will be, you know, I mean, in the industry is so funky right now, you know, it's so funky. Like, I mean, like the post-strike, you know, like I was talking to my manager today, and, you know, like after the strike was the first time sort of in history, or probably since like the 2008 strike, where everybody is available. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody was working for a long time. And so now, and the studios, you know, they slashed, they cut a lot of shows, you know, you know, they and they're really being cheap, you know, with what they're paying people now, you know what I mean? So it's funky. It's like, so, but, you know, people are working, but, you know, like there's less, you know, there are fewer shows being done compared to, because it wasn't sustainable for like, I mean, it wasn't sustainable for the strike. There was just like too many projects. And, you know, like not enough money to pay for them all, and whatever. But like everything, they were crying broke, and so now they're, you know, like not crying broke per se, but like they're not doing as much.
So wheeling and dealing like they were before the strike.
Man, don't get me started with them.
Okay, I have to ask you about. Okay. I got my answer there. The character arc about the gender reassignment of your character's baby. See, because they, you know, with what you say, his comedy, the way it is, that was a pretty serious thing, because I thought the show was a dramedy. It wasn't all. Everybody thought it was going to be all out comedy, and it wasn't.
Right.
But that, you know, with all that, you know, with the trans thing, you know, trans thing, gender reassignment, all that stuff going on. What did you? Because it started from an egg, you know, literally. It started from an egg.
Yeah.
And it finally got to the end. If I'm gonna give out a spoiler, if people haven't seen this,
not a spoiler. You're so nice, Fran.
Right? We get ready to spoil something that was one day old. You talking about 3 years?
You know what I'm saying? You know, people say, "Oh, I didn't know that happened." But shit, you should have looked at it.
Bad.
But anyway,
I mean, 3-4 years ago. Okay, so
you know, it starts off at an egg. You sitting on the egg. Oh, you were so funny. You were so funny to me in this show. But you know, she starts out and the baby is born a female. You know, and they do the gender reassignment, and it goes all the way from then. And you think the thing is over with. They go through all these trials. It's something, and then they bring it back. This child sitting on the bridge saying, "I just don't feel right. There's something wrong." You know, and you like, and then you think of, you know, people now who, you know, the trans community, they go through, "I just don't feel right." You know, I feel differently inside than what I appear to be. And it was so, you know what I'm saying? It was the drama of that, the way that he told the story. But she becomes a girl, but it goes through all these steps. What did you think about? Because, you know, you had a reaction from your spouse, from your homework. Because they asked the doctor to do the gender reassignment operation, and she refused. She said, "No, I'm not doing this. Take the baby back to the home." It was some, and this was a whole arc. And period.
And they.
Pardon showed up. Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, you got it, Frank.
I mean, you know, it's.
So what do you think about that?
Crazy brain. Well, yeah. I mean, and thank you for asking that. And let's not forget that Clyden, my partner, my mate, he was born a female. Like, and so a part
that was the shocker.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
And so
my parents, okay.
You know, and like so he's coming at it from I feel like it was a really well balanced bit of writing, because part of the hard thing to do when you write science fiction, because it's written by human beings for human beings, but not about human beings per se. And it's a little bit like, it's a little bit Othello-y in the sense that, like, because it's like, someone asked me at FedCon, like, what would you like to see? And I said, I would like if there were more episodes. And I said, I would like to see the human beings learn something more about, like, because the moral compass tends to land in the human point of view, like
yes.
So because people
every
are
time.
like, you can't be mad at Clyde, and you can't be mad at Mocklands, for that's their cult, that's who they are. And so if you're going to be honest about writing about other, you cannot judge them.
Right.
If you are writing about, if the true experience is different and opposing cultures clashing or coexisting or figuring out how to live together or not, you gotta let the people who don't share your worldview have a voice.
Yep.
And a three-dimensional voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's leaning toward, like, oh well, the human sensibility is failing, and that's boring. So and so I thought that it was really well balanced in terms of, and I liked that and I never would read ahead. I would always just read one episode at a time. And I liked that at the end of the trial, he doesn't win. And I'm like, right. Like they're not fucking around here. Like they're like, because this is like, why would he win? Because that's so Hollywood. That would be so
right.
Exactly. Why would he do all this and then it would be for nothing? So then the story tumbles forward, right? And this is season 1, and it kind of coasts along. And so then what that does is that created a rift between my marriage, right? And so so then that takes us to this crazy zany thing that happens where Bordas, in one episode, you find out he has a porn addiction. And
that was funny, y'all.
I watched that show. I watched that with my mama, and that was just,
no, you didn't.
oh man, I never felt more 13.
Oh God.
I was sitting on the floor, and she was sitting behind me, and she didn't say nothing. And my mama don't talk that much anyway, so I was like, want to look back over my show. I didn't even look back. I just because of the shit that I had to do in that episode. But so he develops a porn addiction, but he says, like, I was a bad mate. Like I went inside myself instead of trying to, and they go to therapy, and same episode. So he develops a porn addiction. He gives a ship a virus because he gets some dirty porn, and the ship almost gets sucked into a star, and they have to rescue some people, and they can't rescue everybody, so they have to rescue only some people. Or something. It's a full ass episode, and they go to therapy. You know what I mean? The aliens going to therapy. Like what? Come on! Like what are we doing? So all over the place. And so again, more balanced writing, but again, it's very universal in the sense that it's earnest in the fact that, like, we're talking about some real issues. And this is like a couple of episodes down the road from the episode of the gender reassignment episode. So you find out the reason why he's, sneaking around in the simulation chamber is because he's still processing, and he's still upset that his, mate chose, like, the sort of macrocosmic philosophy over their family, right? And so this is real. I mean, so I was like, this is really, really great, like, and again, like, like the fact that my family is on, I mean, it's a science vessel, it's not a warship. So it's like, but nobody else, well, Dr. Fenn's family is but like the fact that so every time that the ship is, being attacked, you know, and I'm at my post and I'm like, you know, shields up, da 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 da. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I can't fuck this up because my family is on board. I mean, right. So, you know, like, so there's all of that that's in there. And so then, you know, we go to find out that not only are there female Mocklins, but there's a whole colony of female,
right?
And that their greatest writer that the Mocklins read turns out to be a woman or a female Mocklin. Now, let's peel the Band-Aid off this a little bit. When Seth, when I first found out about that there were going to be female Mocklins, because if you look at like all the Mocklins, that like for the most part there were only, I think, 2 non-Black men who were playing Mocklin.
Yeah, thank you. The whole
And so, you know, and I love me some Rena, who played what's her name, the female Mocklin,
the writer,
the leader.
Yeah.
It's, God, I feel horrible. Like people are going to listen to this. He's like, you know, but head is full. I can't
remember everything.
It'll come back to me like tonight when like I'm like, but anyway, but I got it. So I was like, you know, so since like, you know, Mocklins, you know, like the characteristics of Mocklins are like, I guess modeled after me, like, you know, deep voice, blah, 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 you know, like big Black men, that, you know, like they should be some big Black women. You know what I mean? It should be like, I was like, you should go out and find some female bodybuilders, and they should be, you know, like that's what I was telling Seth. I mean, it should be like, and so I was, you know, low key disappointed that, you know, and Rena is amazing. She's a phenomenal actress from New Zealand, and she was in that movie Once We Were Warriors. You know, like if you ever seen that movie a long time ago, she crushed it. I mean, she's amazing. But I was just like, dude, I don't understand. And this is where it got a little funny, because I don't even think that he thought about it at all. You know what I mean? I don't think, and this is, I think this is where it gets into like the idea, like the privilege of being a white man,
right? Yeah.
Where you don't, you know, like you sort of subconsciously, you cast like these aliens to be like these big ferocious dudes. I mean, there's some big. I've been to Eastern Europe. There's some big ferocious white men. You know I mean?
Yeah, but like, and women
and women. But I'm saying like but when it came to like the woman, like to introduce the female woman, you know, you cast this woman who's from New Zealand. Right? And I'm like, that don't even go. Like, I mean, like that, like, I don't, but okay, whatever. Let me just, you know, stay in my lane. And then eventually, like, and then so like when they did have some other Mocklins that were female Mocklins, they were like some sisters that were there, you know, but I was like, man, you should have listened to me and hired female bodybuilders, like Black women, female bodybuilders, and give them a shot. But because I thought that would be like, you know, like that would make more sense to me.
That would make sense.
Yeah. You know, if I'm doing a show, that's what it'll be. But and so then you find out that, you know, that there's females, and then to go to the next transformation of, like as you said, when Topa is, you know, older, played by Imani, missing her last name, but like she was amazing, and so she played him as a boy for a while, and I think they altered her voice or something like that to make it. But with her physicality, she was very, and they changed the mask because it was like they had a more masculine mask, and then like when she had her sex change, like there was a softer, more feminine, you know, mask. But like her transformation in that whole episode of her, you know, confronting us, and me giving her the codes to, you know, to discover for herself and find out, you know, that she, the trial, and like seeing the trial and her origin story, just so she's not suffering with, because I mean, as a parent, you know, I have two small boys that are 6 and 8, and watching them grow and grow into their own identity because they're vastly different, and wanting to support. I just can't imagine what that would be like to feel different, or feel like I'm not validated as who I am, and like that pain of Bortis, watching her and seeing her just spin and be like, I don't feel like I am who I am, and I know why, and not I just like that just killed me. So again, back to the writing of that, like it was so, that storyline I think was the storyline that I think is the most memorable in terms of the drama, you know what I mean? Because that's the one that pushed I feel like the most boxes, you know, and that's what that storyline put us on the map as being like, oh wait, this is not jokes, there's nothing funny about this.
Right. That's when everybody, that storyline was when everybody like sat up and paid attention. You know,
that's when I tuned in, because I wasn't tuning in, and then I heard, I was like, what?
Same here.
Let me check this out, you know.
Read it, and like I mean, I knew off rip that I like I was gonna lay an egg. And I'm like, well, I'm hooked. I mean, whatever, let's go. Funny. But when I read that episode, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually going to be something that I really like work on.
Yeah, and that was the cutest little baby ever.
Oh,
I know, right?
Man,
her head up. I'm like, oh, look at her.
So funny, so funny. Because we had a real baby, we had an animatronic baby, and we had a puppet. You know, we had different things, because it's like the babies can only work so much. And then they you know, then they used they spent so much money on that damn show. It was a beautiful little bit. Yeah, right? and the little boy who played Topa when he was, you know, like a young boy, blessing, and he was like this. He was such a sweetheart. You know what I mean? Just like this little athlete, and then the boys on the show were little. Now these dudes are grown ass men.
Yeah.
Wow.
He like the older son, he is like 6'3".
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness!
That is tall, and it's like, thanks, dude. What's up? You know. Hi, Mr. Peter. How you doing?
Oh, wow.
Well, there goes the continuity of that. We definitely, it's definitely gonna have to pass if we come back, because you got tattoos and shit. I'm like, hell,
grown ass man now.
Grown ass man.
One more thing. Speaking of black boys, Jay Lee. Man. You know, and his character.
Shout out to Shining Man. That's what I call him.
What you call him?
Call him Shining Man.
Okay.
I love that.
His character was really funny and flippant in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, you know, this guy is a brilliant engineer. He's the pilot of the ship. Yeah. And he becomes this brilliant chief engineer on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and then we find out later on that he didn't want his peers to know that he was that smart, because he was in fear of being ostracized.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
And in our community, come on. Yeah. You know, they'll say, oh, you think you acting white. I mean, how you going to be acting white if you smart? Shit. What?
Oh, yeah, and I got that. Peter, you talk white. I'm like, what?
What does that mean?
I got that
blackest thing on the neighborhood, and you could like, yeah, and then you get it from both sides. I'm just like, well, like John Lamar's character, and then this is, I think, you know, Seth, Jay Lee. I mean, I'm not putting his business in the street. Like Jay Lee is, he's a phenomenal man in that he's a virtuoso classical piano player. I mean,
no way! I did not know that.
Playing Radio City Music Hall when he was like 19, and like he does concerts in LA, and like he's just like, and he's about it. He's like, he's such an incredible, prolific writer. He's like he's written tons of screenplays. I think he might be in Chicago right now shooting another movie of his. But he's got a movie called Atypical Wednesday so he's produced like
write it down, Sabrina.
like it's cool. Like so, he was like president.
We talked a little bit about his screenplay, so go ahead.
Like president of his frat. You know what I mean? Like
he's all that.
He's like a
so quick,
crazy basketball player. Does stand up comedy. You know, like he's just like, you know, takes care of his dad. You know what I mean? He's just like, I saw we were in Germany, and I just got so much love for him. Like he got up, and I had jet lag, and he got up and went to Beethoven's house. I was just like, damn it, I was gonna go, but I was too tired. But like, he's just got like, you know, so he
will exhaust you talking to him for like 5 to 10 minutes.
Like we just,
you got to keep up.
You know, like we every time we get to hang out is always just fueled with energy. So much so that I want him to play Cassio in my
I see that.
It's like because I think he's just so dynamic, and I think that would just set up like a great thing between myself and him, and just like what does jealousy look like between, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's anyway. We're talking about that later. But yeah, John Lamar being like the smartest, other than Isaac, who's not, you know, he's a you know, he's
robot.
Sentient. He's being, you know, he's a robot.
Palon,
a robot.
A robot.
He's a robot, and
the robot is right.
But John Lamar is the smartest dude on the ship. You know what I mean? So, and you know, like, and like, that was, I think, something that, you know, he, you know, we were talking about. He's like, what's happening with my character? Like, I don't know that Seth, you know, I think that Seth had to sort of stew with what to do with him. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like, I don't know that he knew what to do, because it's like, because, you know, like, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I mean, you look at, Seth is from Rhode Island, okay? You know, so, like this, you know, like,
there you go. That's it. You explained it all.
That's all you need to say.
You explained it all right there. We got it.
But, you know, like, I mean, you know, I say that, I mean, like, I do play Peter's boss on Family Guy, right? And Preston Lloyd, he's on the spectrum. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Very weird guy. So, I mean, I'm not saying that Seth doesn't know how to write for Black people. I'm saying that, like, there's very specific kind of people that live, Black people that live in Rhode Island or Boston, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
hey.
Okay. Like, I'll say Rhode Island. I'll leave Boston alone.
No. Go ahead, say it.
No. I'll leave Boston alone.
Let's go back to Rhode Island.
No, I'll just say I'll stay in the lane of Rhode Island, because that's specifically what I'm talking about.
Those Providence people, people, you know who you are.
You know.
Oh my God! Please send the mail to Sabrina Wood
and Peter Macon.
I ain't trying to light that up. Like, I'm just
saying.
Come on, Providence. You know we love ya.
We love our listeners in Rhode Island too. Thank you.
I'm just saying it's different. I ain't saying
it's different. That's for, I gotta put Sabrina down. That's all. I gotta put that Boston back in check for a second.
I'm just speaking.
Gonna roll down the road of Providence
for what I've been through. That's all.
Right.
That's my story.
That's all.
I'm telling you my story.
That's all. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, and I just think that, like, I can't wait to, because there's you know, and I think that, you know, knowing Seth, he's probably one of the most brilliant, hardworking people that I've ever come across. Like, I swear to God, I was like, "Are you a robot, dude?" I'm a kid in that battery one time, because, you know, I mean, he's started off as an illustrator, you know, went to RISD, and, you know, got really successful really young, and didn't turn into a douchebag. You know what I mean? Like, like, you know, like, still, like, he's still a generous, smart, well-read, you know, interesting, accomplished, like, composer, like, you know, musician, singer, crooner.
You're saying he can sing.
Yeah. He can really sing.
Yeah. And he's funny, and he's he's, and he works really hard, and he doesn't, like, I've never seen him like really lose it. Like, I've seen him angry, but like, but it's witticism. Like, I can see it, like, can tear like it, like a situation that is like malfunctioning, or like someone's, fucking up or being inadequate, and it just sort of dress them down, or like bless them out, like
bless them out.
but with a, with a calm, calmness.
Yeah.
So like, and just like, again, super, super, super generous. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to one of his parties, but like, it's ridiculous.
No,
we have not. We have not had the good
No, we have
fortune.
not.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm just
not
saying.
that close to people in Rhode Island.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's a thing now, right? That's gonna stick, huh?
I never got invited to Rhode Island.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got tripped up at his party, met Quincy Jones, and was like,
yeah,
right? What do you say to Quincy Jones? What do you say to Quincy Jones? Nothing.
Blah, 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 blah. Exactly.
That's what you say.
Give me a fist bump, and I was like, okay, I'll leave. Yeah, awesome. I mean, and so but I think that, like, if I know Seth, he is, writing. I know that he's. I don't know, but if I understand what our conversations have been about, is that, like, I would put money on that there's something in the hopper.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
I mean, but I know that he's like, like when we part of the reason why the Orville took so long in between seasons is because he was the kind of person that wants to write everything first and then shoot it, as opposed to write as you go. You know what I mean? Like, likes to have it all done and all, you know what I mean? And that takes a lot of time, so, and he's, like I said, he's in TED world right now. So, who knows, like, what, like, I wish that well, like, and if, we'll see, but it would be sad if there were no more, but
it's going to be something more.
Don't do, like, I don't know.
It's loved,
so,
it really is.
So before, I know, like, your time, you're being really generous with your time, and we love you for that. Thank you. But like, we really want to talk about Planet of the Apes for a little bit, and just tell us, like, a little bit about what that was like to play that character. I mean, I know you've done voice work, but this particular world is like, I love these stories. We were talking like a couple of shows ago about the Planet of the Apes world, and talking about the newer renditions of the story, but just the story itself, like, it strikes home in so many ways. And I have a hard time watching those movies because they
hit a nerve.
They hit a nerve. Yeah, they hit a nerve a lot of times, and they're really successful in that, huh?
Well, I don't know what nerve you're talking about, but the nerve that it hit with me when I was, like, I think I saw the 68 movie when I was about 6, so it was like on TV at that point, and it was confusing, but exciting, and also like the damn dirty ape just resonated with me.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds a little familiar.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And so, and that you know what I mean? So that was difficult to process, really, because, like, I come, like, my grandmother, my great grandmother were, maids, domestics, in Chicago, and my grandmother was notorious for saying honky, 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 this honky, because of the way that, like, they were treated by white people, and so I grew up in a very, like, a pretty much all Black world until I was like 11 or 12, and then I moved to Minneapolis and was in an all white world, so it was very, very, very strange, but and so when I was, like, watching that movie in Chicago, not really ever having experiencing any white people except for on TV, and like I think a couple of my teachers were white in my school, but and so the way that I processed that, like it was just like it didn't sit right. It was like this don't, and the fact that like you the racism that like black people being compared to monkeys and all that stuff. Like,
right.
It's real hard to like separate. But then they were talking apes, and I was like, what the fuck? So like I would go to the zoo, and I'd be like, you can talk, can't you? I know you can. You can talk. Go ahead. Just say one thing. Don't tell nobody.
I won't tell nobody.
Don't tell anybody else.
So that was like, so that's how my 6-year-old brain was processing all that stuff. So cut to, what is it? Bowling for Columbine, I think, with Michael Moore, and like he had that sort of painful interview with Charlton Heston. And,
man.
And I was like, all that stuff was still in the back of my mind, and like, from my cold dead hands, and like all the, like the NRA business and like all that stuff. So I'm just like, you are really like you, John Wayne, and all them can kiss my ass. You know what I mean? Like,
thank you
2 times, but yet you're lauded as like, and then my dad would like watch all these crazy Westerns and stuff like that. So it's a lot of processing going on. So cut to, I get, we just moved to Atlanta and, from LA because the Orville was done. And I was, my wife, we're like, get the hell out of here. Cause we should be in LA if we
right.
and get that TV money. Let's go make our dollar stretch.
Right.
So, but it was just time to go anyway. And the schools were like, not great. And like the healthcare system was not great for my mom. And so it's all better here now. Schools are better and the healthcare system better for my mom, blah, blah, blah. But, and so that came down the pike, like the pipe with the audition for Apes. And I was like, oh damn, they're making another Planet Apes movie. And like Andy Serkis, who played Caesar in the last 3 movies,
amazing performance.
Amazing. Yes, is like from Lord of the Rings, like from Schmeagol to King Kong to like all these other roles in like that he's done. Like, but the performance capture, technology, he's the godfather of all that.
Yes,
right?
Precious.
And
Precious.
Yeah. And so he's actually, they're actually, I don't know if they started production yet, but like he's directing the next Lord of the Rings movie, and it's about Gollum, and he's playing Gollum. He's directing it, and so I mean, I'm like, call me up, dude, because
right.
So when I was in Sydney shooting this movie, like I got to chop it up with him a few times, and just like the sessions that we had were, that's what it's like to be under the tutelage of somebody who really, really, really knows what they're doing, and he's super, super nice and super, super attentive and super generous spirit and his energy and his time, and he's like so specific about like, because we were doing, because what was hard about this, because we had like 6 weeks of ape school, right? So we for 6 weeks we studied the physiognomy of apes, like in the different skeletal systems between apes, chimpanzees, orangutans, gorillas, bonobos, and how they were different, and human beings. And we were learning, like about like the apes have different anatomy for, like their vocal pat, like their vocal, like their larynxes are shaped different. That's why they don't speak. But and so like the whole trajectory of Caesar speaking and learning to speak, and apes learning to speak,
they stood up.
Like in walking more upright and quadrupeding, and that was so the challenge. It was so layered in terms of like the challenges, because like the assignment is to be a talking orangutan now, and also like this is 300 years of evolution that's happened since the last movie. Right. So you have to consider like, since, like the first one where Caesar, speaks, because the virus and whatever, I don't know what it does, but the need to speak, and then that grows, to the second movie, and then that grows the third movie. And so you have to think about, and like, so those movies, there's only about, that's the span of what, 20 years maybe, like those movies, if I'm doing the math. But now it's 300 years later, right? So one of the challenges was, okay, not only do I talk, but I'm pretty chatty. Like Rocky's pretty. He's a bit like, so he's kind of like a little bit of like a crazy uncle who's an anthropologist, like an anthropologist, or who's like, oh, come on, boy, I'm gonna show you all the pictures, family history, and all.
Your uncle that's a Star Trek fan.
Out you know, like mama smoke weed, daddy smoke weed, your uncle, everybody smoke weed. I'm not the only one smoke weed. And like I know you're 7, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. But so he's a little bit like, and like orangutans are very solitary for the most part. Like except for when they're in like sanctuaries and stuff like that. But like out in like Borneo and like Asia and stuff like that, they tend to like just not hang out with a lot of other apes. Whereas chimpanzees are very societal. They're very they're very political. They're very and gorillas are like silverback gorillas, male gorillas. They typically die of heart disease or heart attacks because they're so stressed out all the time.
Wow!
They have to they have to look out and protect. They're very, very calm until they're not, right? But there's an order to how they. There's a hierarchy and all that stuff, but orangutans are just super chill, for the most part. And so one of the hard things to manifest was like, okay, so it's 300 years down the road. How have my vocal cords developed to the point where I can speak? So I would have to go through the script, and I did this with Andy a lot, like, and take and sort of break up my text, because I'm like, this sounds way too human. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like it sounds like a human wrote this and a human is speaking it, and that can't stand like that.
Right.
That's gonna, if it's taking me out, it's probably gonna take the audience out.
Right.
And then, goddamn, at the end of the day, I had to just let all that go and go with. A lot like Shakespeare, after the first 5 minutes, we just talking fucking apes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we just go it, and like that's just what it is. And because like I've heard the feedback that I've gotten a lot from the film is like it starts off very slow, and like there's some sign language and it's fairly innocent, and then when my character is introduced, it's sort of there's a note shift. And there's a little bit of humor that comes along, but then, but I speak, and I'm like, so people are like, oh, okay, like, okay. So I mean, I feel like I give like a bit of relief to the audience, and I'm just different. I mean, I'm different. I'm a different character in all 4 of these like films. Like Maurice, super compassionate, but sign language, and like and the noises and the sounds that Maurice would make, but Raka is like this strange bridge between the new world and the world of Caesar. And the irony, and see, these are the things that like you just there's nothing in that thing is ever going to be perfect. But like, so I was like, wait a minute, he can talk, but he can't read. You know what I mean? And like, but that makes sense to me because books are obsolete and like oral, like things are passed down, and like because the irony of him not understanding how humans, because he's like apes together strong, apes shall not kill apes together strong, and humans and apes live side by side. And the whole thing with Proximus is that he's being read Roman history. He's being read history by Bill Macy's character, and he understands the history of man in a way that Raka does not. And that picture of that they find the children's book of the gorilla in the cage. Like that Rocca doesn't really, he didn't see. I guess he didn't see that book. You know what I mean?
Right.
All these other books, but he collects stuff, and he just just so happens to not have seen that book, because then it undoes all of the logic that but he's in an airport and he sees like this sort of like art deco, like very almost like Rome, like Russian, like industrialist, sculptural, like carvings in the airport of like man going to space and and he's like, this must be a place where they, he's trying to do all this guesswork about human beings. And there was a whole scene that was cut out of the movie that he was like setting fruit traps, not traps, but like he would set out like fruits and then moldy fruits, and like he was always trying to like lure human beings in to study them. But and so then then and I had to like just let go a lot of that Charlton Heston, like the earlier movies, like Roddy McDowall, like I had to let go because at the time, like it was very, very like progressive, or like the makeup was very like ahead of its time, or was very like
I thought they all looked alike though.
Well, now, yeah. Like I look at it now and I'm just like, oh yeah, but like then I was like, I just like they did all look like the apes were, but it was like the fucking apes, and I just I didn't see the human being underneath.
Right.
I look at it now and it's like, oh, that's clearly even like the one that Tim Burton directed with Mark Wahlberg, and where Paul Giamatti is playing.
He plays it, and orangutan,
and you can see that it's Paul Giamatti. Like it's amazing. Like the makeup of the effects are just phenomenal for the time. But now with this performance capture stuff, which was another hurdle, right? Because when you watch, like even when I was shooting the Orville, and normally I don't go back unless I'm trying to figure something out technically, or if there's like I'm trying to find and see if I hit an emotional quality. I don't normally go back to playback and watch to Video Village and watch the playback, because it just puts me in my head, and I'm just like, it makes me feel like I'm being vain. But with the performance capture, and 70% of what we shot for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was on location, right? So we'd be in the bush. Like with the snakes, with the spiders, with everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Yes.
Really
that's truth right there.
The leeches, like the birds, the kangaroos. Like I'm just saying. So but you're out there with all this equipment on, and like you have like this helmet with like this high definition camera right here in your face that you have to. It took me a month to not bump it, but like. And you bump it and the guys come over and have to adjust it. But like, you just have to forget about all that. And like, if I were to go back and look at the playback, what I would see is myself in this crazy getup, and there's no information really to be garnered from that either. So it took me back to the theater in a sense. It was like, you just have to be in the scene with your scene partner and trust that the director is getting what they want, and that your scene partner is getting what they need, and keep it moving, because there's a whole other life that the film has after we finish shooting it, like for like a year. Like we started editing it. They started editing it we finished shooting mid-February of last year, and then they started editing it in April in LA, and they were editing it all the way up until, and so the premiere was May 2nd, and they were like, Wes called me, the director, he called me about a month, 3 weeks before the premiere.
Oh my God.
And he's like, Rocca's last line is not, it's just not landing right. It's just not, it's just not, because it was, the last line was, the work continues. right? And then off he goes into the water, and he's like, it's just not landing. And he's like, what if we came up with something, something about like this together, strong. And I was like, okay, let me think about this. Stronger together, strong. So I sat in this room that I'm in right now with my phone, and because for some reason my microphone wasn't working to my computer, technology. I'm an analog man.
Double tapes.
Right? I was just about to say that.
You know what I'm saying? So shit wasn't working. I took my phone and I approximated like the position that I was in the river, and like I did about 15, 20 takes of like apes together, stronger together, and it just did again, just threw a bunch of stuff at him, and then that's what wound up in the movie.
Wow.
So they
took,
and this is like the crazy thing about like these animators. They took the video from my phone and made it and animated it and did all the things they did with it, and that's what was in the movie.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was like and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I have to, but that's how
That's amazing.
they were on it until
I would have been like, but why did I have to go to Australia with all the things that were going to kill me if I could have done this from my phone and my
From my phone.
I know, right? Could have just did this all remotely. What are we doing?
You got to trip to Australia.
Kangaroos.
Yeah, but that's
Boston kangaroos, they are frightening.
Yo, those things, they walk around like if Mike Tyson was a kangaroo, like this is. Do anybody know where the weight room is, Mike? Like they literally charge because they're very territorial.
Oh.
And then you're driving, and like Australians drive very, very like speed limit because they have cameras everywhere. It's very draconian. But like,
really?
Well, in the city, yeah, like you lose your license they have cameras that can tell if you're like on your phone or if you don't have, both hands on the steering wheel, whatever. It's super draconian. But like they drive the speed limit, right? So they're driving like 50 miles per hour. Like I think it's kilometers, whatever. But the kangaroos, because they're territorial, if a car is driving, they'll run at the car and hit the car and fuck the car up, and the kangaroo is fine. I mean, they're like, they're really like, no neck and just like they're scary.
They sound like Mike Tyson.
They're like all roided out.
They totally look like they're juicing.
Kangaroo imitation.
They're just
They're juicing.
Mate,
the kangaroo's standing on the side of the road like, I wish a motherfucker would.
I wish you would.
I wish you would come down my road. Come on.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But that's what made that movie so lush. You know what I mean? Is that we were shooting in those places, and there was beautiful, undisturbed rainforests, and some of these places were privately owned. I'm like, God damn it, that money. And like some of these places were bought. Well, yeah, I mean, Australia, man, like they. You could be a criminal in England, and
they sent you
there, and they're like, well, you can grow some sheep, and you can have this land, and you can stay here. And they're like, all right, I'll do it, and grow can be a criminal and a millionaire in the same lifetime. So people bought up like this land out there, and like I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of acres of rainforest that they bought, in like the 60s or 70s for, stupid cheap money. You know what I mean? Like $50,000-$60,000, something like that. You know what I mean? Criminal money. Yeah. Criminal. But I'm just saying, we were out there riding horses in the bush, and it was just it's to date one of the most incredible experiences of my career, and going to watch it was like, what? I was like, and so I asked my son if he wanted to. I asked some boys if they wanted to see it. So I was going to take them today, just because I was like, we'll go today. And my 6-year-old's like, there's too much fighting in that. No. you know,
Aww.
like Prince reincarnated and just.
I'm like, I love him.
But he like watches like and does this crazy like he just like sometimes the most violent shit. And I'm like, you of all people like should not be freaked out by this. But for the 8-year-old, he's like, yeah, I want to go see it, so maybe I'll take him tomorrow.
That's gonna be cool.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I would love to go to a movie that my dad's in and like go see it with him. Just for that before it leaves the theater.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool. I think that like one of the reasons I've just been dying to say this, I'm so from my heart so grateful for you spending this time with us because you know, I mean, it's really important for us to have you. This is why we exist. You know, is to like what do we say? Shine a light on Black thought and Black creativity and Black creators. You know, and like and you're the very much the reason why we exist and to give a platform because especially in our world, which coming from like a Trek world and a fandom world, you know, we get pigeonholed with people. People remember the character and then they don't know much else about the person who brought the character to life, right? Like forever in our minds, some people will forever be their character, even though we know that they are complete human beings and it was a character. I cannot separate sometimes. I still can't separate sometimes the people from the role because the role was so important to me, you know, the role meant so much to me, you know, and I feel like it's really important for somebody like you to come on the show because you're like a Renaissance man, like you're, you know, like, and the depth of knowledge that you bring just to a conversation like this. I've had so much fun listening to you. I'm learning from you, you know, and I just feel like you are the man that more people need to see and hear. So I'm really glad that you're on with us, you know, and that our listeners have a chance to hear you, you know, not the character, but you.
I listen back, you know, back at you. I talking about this film in particular, like just over the last, I don't 5-6 months, whatever. I've had a lot of chats and it's been great. And some of them have been better than others. And what I was very excited about this before, because when we agreed to do this, like I didn't know that I was going to be doing like the Planet of the Apes. Right? So we can just talk about the Orville, which is cool. But this the excitement of being able to, because I figure there's a lot of crossroads and a lot of common places or common things to talk about, given just what we were just talking about, this growing up the way we did and just feeling isolated and feeling like, you know, like being a Black nerd, you know what I mean? Like what, like just, and now I feel like because information is so hard to come by from like a legitimate source. It's like, it's almost like sometimes I just stop reading stuff and I just read autobiographies, you know what I mean? It's like, but I feel like this kind of information, like I would listen to this, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I feel like this conversation I want to hear this conversation.
Right.
Alone have the conversation. And I'm deeply appreciative of that because I feel now more than ever we need this kind of discourse, you know, so and it keeps me going. So, you know, I'm anytime. Like,
Thank you.
All right.
We're going to hold you to that.
I'm man of my word. You know,
yes, you are.
You are a man of your word.
But because that's all you got. You know, like that's all you got. You know, and you know, like, you know, and so, you know, and I'm sure this won't be the last time that we, you know, get to rap. And I'm serious. Anytime for whatever subject, if you do it, like it don't have to be. I mean, I'm happy to like participate in any kind of panel or whatever. Like I'm going to Nairobi in September, like late September to mid-October to teach a master class, which I call it workshop. They call it master class. I got to call it master class, but like to try to create like a space for actors to have like a sort of like an actor, because it's called a Yora Summit. You can look it up. It's YORA Summit, and they just launched their thing today. But like after all these protests that were going on, and like what they did to like then the president to not sign like this tax increase bill and stuff like that. But like, so basically, I'm going there to try to create a space for actors to have, and it's a conference that they'll be like, they're trying to build 1 million businesses in like a certain amount of time, but there'll be like entrepreneurs, sports figures, I forget some other components, but like people there with money and wanting to build businesses. And so one of the models I'm trying to create is like a sustainable space for, actors to not only like write pieces and workshop, just an actor's workshop. I call it an actor's camp. But there's Comic-Con coming up, and I'll be there for that. But like, if there's conventions or whatever, I'm down. You know what I mean?
Okay. I love that.
I don't like I said, I don't really leave the house unless I go work or whatever. But I still don't got a lot of friends. That's really what it comes down to, guys.
You got 4 here now. You got 4 here.
Yeah. So I got
We love that. I think it's important that, the world hears more positive Black voices, and especially Black men, and brother, like, I can't tell you how blessed we feel right now, to have shared this time. Yeah,
I
like
appreciate
it's good stuff. And
so much stuff, man. I got like 2 pages of notes over here.
I know Sabrina's been writing the whole time.
I see that Othello. I'm like, right, Black Panther.
I really do hope that you will consider me, an ally, or just a brainstorming springboard. I'm here, and I want to be here, and this means a lot to me, and I really appreciate what you guys have been up to and holding it down, all this time, for us and for myself to be able to share and break bread and just chop it up and laugh and talk, because it's so necessary.
It is. It really is.
This is how we grow.
Next time we see you, we're going out to dinner.
Let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a $1 bet right there.
Right there.
Where y'all gonna be soon? What's happening? Where you gonna be?
Next for us is Star Trek Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're in Vegas next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
I think we're Jersey, right?
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey. The mission. What is it? The Creation.
Yeah.
In November.
New Jersey.
Okay.
Our birthday weekend.
In November.
And then hopefully, maybe if we could, fingers crossed, maybe that Creation Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, Charlotte.
I know, right?
I've never been there.
For the Southern girls in the house.
That's right.
Southern girl.
That's right.
Exactly what was in my head.
Frankie Beverly, baby, every time.
Oh man, come on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
My record collection back out.
I know, right? Even now you got me.
Not the records.
Oh yeah.
Oh
He's a
yeah.
DJ. Yeah.
Now you got me like wanting to go do some good reading. Like I need to. There's a lot of history I need to be reading.
Yeah.
Like I got all these books sitting over. Like I was a bookseller in my former life, and I know what it is to. My happy place is having far more books in my possession than I will ever be able to read.
No, I'm the same way. I did a talk at Morehouse a few months ago, and went in the bookstore and just got stupid. I just stuck them on the bookshelf before my wife came home.
All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap this up.
Okay. Let me know when this is gonna play. Like, and I want to, I'll listen to it and criticize myself the whole time. But
I'll definitely let you know.
Yeah.
You want to do the outro? Okay.
Yeah. You can find us at sci-fisistas.com. That's SYFYSISTAS.com. Join us at the Mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Sistas Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, sci-fi.sistas. And we are also on that platform formerly known as Twitter at Sci-Fi Sistas. For interviews, the live show, and our infamous Top 10 series, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sci-Fi Sistas Inc. Become a patron of Sci-Fi Sistas today at patreon.com/Sci-Fi Sistas. The Trek Geeks Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fansets.com for pins and memorabilia from all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
And we would very much like to thank our associate producers, Karen Jermera, Stephanie Baker, and Sailor Marge for their sponsorship. We love you. Thank you very much for your support. And of course, we got to shout out the baddest engineer in any and all universes. That's Dose, the anonymous one. He's responsible for all the music you hear on our show, as well as for production services. And if you are in need of his skills, hit him up on Instagram. That's Dose_the_anonymous_1. That's the number 1. And that's it for us this week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We thank you, Peter, for being here. And catch you on the flip side, people. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Love and hair grease. That's right.
That's right. Hi, everybody. Sister Tamia here with the Shorty Shoutouts for this month. We'd like to thank the following patrons for your continued support of the Sci-Fi Sistas: Allison Leach Hyde, Mike and Kristen Holton, Ayana Mae Tom, Casey Shafsky, Mike Nauer, Cassandra Gerard, Bruce McMillan, April Mead, Domestic, LJ, Tara Jefferson, Holly Smith, Bernadette Garcia Galvez, Rhonda G., Kathy D., Rita Persant Nethersole, Marcus Bigham, Mark Richmond, Bill Erickson, Zakiya Graham, Linda Anderegg, Travis Taylor, Jeffrey Cochran, Old Klein, Peter Heisler, Olga Kravchuk, TJ Jackson Bay, Liza Albright, Kaylia Zawaki, Sam Droke Dickinson, Stephanie Baker, Sailor Marge, Stephanie Dole, Starbase Centaur 4210 Productions, Jamal Taylor, Scott Jensen, Ann Bradley, J.R. Poole, Howard Hogan, L.M., Timothy Baum, Dave A. Gregory, Eve England, David Boston, Karen Jermera, Sue K., Muhammad Noor, Susan V. Gruner, and Anna Post. Thank you all so much. We love you.